First in a series of episodes called Tales from the Octopus Macabre. Creep and Buzzard both had long, stringy hair down to their waists. Stood, each one of them, about 5'2" with their stocking feet. Each one of them had size 14 and a half feet, with 7 toes in each foot, and were both of them musically attenuated. Creep played the xylophone and Buzzard played the trombone. They were both in their late 60s, and still each one of them was living with their parents as they did. One of them owned for a pig their pizzas and clam fritters, while the other one owned the pug noses. He had one from Antigonus Freebird McCarthy in a card game at Waldorf's Tavern. They were both told by their mothers about 2 weeks previously that they had 3 weeks to pack up their golf clubs and Betsy Smith's and Lady Day albums and move out. You contribute nothing to this house, Creep's mother told them, and you eat everything I buy at Bella's grocery. Both of them being immune to any kind of actual employment, they decided to start robbing banks. Since they were both highly allergic to any and all forms of violence, they decided to rob the banks with beehives. Lord and Lady were dining out at Lefty Calhoun's Chinese restaurant one evening. It was their anniversary, and Creep and Buzzard were sitting one table over from them. When the waiter, after dinner was long over, approached Creep and Buzzard with the bill for the meal they ate, Creep looked at him in a very confused manner. "What's this?" he asked the waiter. Lord looked over at the table where Creep and Buzzard were both seated, the lower halves of their faces smeared with tomato paste. They had never seen either Creep or Buzzard anywhere in town before, due to the fact that each one of them spent the days either playing music or watching the Jewelry Channel. That was the only station that Mother would allow them to watch. "Have you ever been to a restaurant before?" Lord asked Creep. "Is that what they call this place?" replied Buzzard. "Do you have money enough to pay for the bill?" the lady asked the two of them. "Wait a minute," said Buzzard, fishing around in his trouser pockets. Finally, he pulled a Monopoly game cube-like motel out. The waiter asked him what he was supposed to do with a piece from a game of Monopoly. Lord, beginning to realize the midst of the situation, decided to pay Creep and Buzzard's bill. They had nowhere to spend the night, so they decided to go to Zazu Baramoose's coffee shop and ask her if they could live with her for a while. Creep had asked her out 4 times already. He thought they might make a good item, him being the homeliest looking man in town, her being the most beautiful woman in town. Meanwhile, Antigonus Freebird McCarthy had built out of eggs, milk, and breadcrumbs a time-traveling mechanism that could go 500 years into either the past or the future. He asked the homophobic Hartford, Connecticut hog-farming harpsichordist if he wanted to pay a visit to the scarlet-lettered squire from South Cincinnati. It was the scarlet-lettered squire from Top T-shirts a few days before engaging in their first beehive-enamored bank robbery. The homophobic Hartford, Connecticut hog-farming harpsichordist was standing in the middle of Main Street one day, arguing with the illustrious attorney Ernie McCurdy, who highly suspected the homophobic Hartford, Connecticut hog-farming harpsichordist of stealing his taxidermy and selling it in New Jersey to the Butterscotch Leviathan, who had just got back from Missouri Jake's farm, where he bought a turkey-feathered coat of pink mink and frilled flatter the bachelorette's uncuff-linkable sleeves that Missouri Jake told him would keep him afloat in case of shipwrecks along the Bering Straits. And that pauses our first episode in the series, Tales from the Vaults of the Octopus Macabre. Okay, now, I stopped that because that would be
The octopus
So let's see, now this is Irritable Foul Syndrome Theater.
2 nights previously hijacked.
The first in a series of episodes called Tales from the Octopus Macabre. Creep and Buzzard both had long, stringy hair down to their waists. Stood, each one of them, about 5'2" with their stocking feet. Each one of them had size 14 and a half feet, with 7 toes in each foot, and were both of them musically attenuated. Creep played the xylophone and Buzzard played the trombone. They were both in their late 60s, and still each one of them was living with their parents as they did. One of them owned for a pig their pizzas and clam fritters, while the other one owned the pug noses. He had one from Antigonus Freebird McCarthy in a card game at Waldorf's Tavern. They were both told by their mothers about 2 weeks previously that they had once again, Irritable Foul the Hour presents
Looking across his bedroom, he saw Creep and Buzzard holding sticky notes on bags of hair. You're going to run from there, Senor McCarthy. If it's the last thing you do, the world needs you and all men and women like you. There's a creature from the darkest depths of death. The octopus device is too old. It inhabits part of his new ocean. He has fight before himself to a form of mutualism in the midst of all ocean life. big giant monolithic players, football players, the microscopic sumo wrestlers. And hiding around in 1903. I'm telling you two of this because I care greatly for your continued well-being. The two of you will learn already show that a person provides a pretty much really of all turkey-based food suction cups to supply by the post practitioners of Chomsky genetics.
What happened? Oh,
terminates.
okay, it's time now for another installment of the continuing thing. Captain Crap. I will regale you first with a train democracy. service the country. And speaketh of Alpine and the hills high, that the bounds of West Lothian and about this is special. Where as the foreart or the wheel sport taketh his first beginning in the south, then eastward as the crestus of his court, in inland wood, the fella and Guinness, in which a long thing word deepest, and truly so to my judgment, methinketh this thing impertinent. Says the whole covenant is matter, but this is tale,